this evening is from Hebrews chapter 11, verses 1 through 7. It begins with our theme verse. Now faith is the assurance of things hoped for, the conviction of things not seen. Indeed, by faith our ancestors received approval. By faith we understand that the worlds were prepared by the word of God, so that what is seen was made from things that are not visible. By faith Abel offered to God a more acceptable sacrifice than Cain's. Through this he received approval as righteous, God himself giving approval to his gifts. He died, but through his faith he still speaks. By faith Enoch was taken so that he did not experience death, and he was not found because God had taken him. For it was attested before he was taken away that he had pleased God. And without faith it is impossible to please God. For whoever would approach him must believe that he exists, and that he rewards those who seek him. By faith, Noah, warned by God about events as yet unseen, respected the warning and built an ark to save his household. By this, he condemned the world and became an heir to righteousness, the righteousness that is in accordance with faith. Here ends the reading. Each week, beginning this evening, one of our own brothers and sisters in Christ will be bringing and sharing a by faith experience. And tonight, we call upon Rick Gustafson, a man who needs little or no introduction.
Please pray with me. Dear Father, I simply ask you that you would direct my thoughts and words this evening. You would raise up your precious Son, bring honor to him and him alone. In his name we pray. You know, I always get a kick out of talking, especially to folks like you, because you're all my friends, and you'll forgive me. But one time and it was, I don't remember exactly how many years, this was the anniversary of Cal Storley's birthday. And I spoke at his funeral, and Mary Moss was there. Mary's a friend of ours, and I enjoy Mary because you never know what she's going to say. She said to me, she said, Rick, you know, I always enjoy it when you talk, because I never know what you're going to say. So there you are. Well, I'm going to start out with a little bit of contract law. I don't know if there's anybody here that probably doesn't have their name on a contract somewhere. There's probably some people here that wish they didn't have their name on a contract. And there's probably a few people that have ended up having to settle a dispute with a contract in the court of law, which isn't any fun. You know, there are, as I recall from my college days, which were quite a while ago now, there's 5 elements to a contract. And if these 5 elements do not exist, you do not have a contract. You have to have a bona fide offer. There has to be an offer made. There has to be acceptance of that offer. It has to be communicated. My day today includes a $15,000 disagreement on an offer and acceptance issue at an auto auction in north of the city. And it's filmed, so I have to sit and watch the films and see if indeed I made an acceptance of an offer. You have to have legal capacity. This is where a lot of you parents ought to be very happy, because most of your children are too young to enter into a contract. Otherwise, they would come home with a piece of paper and say, hey, Dad, guess what? Just bought a new Lexus. Guess who's going to make the payments? But usually, you can't do that because they're not old enough, or there's some other barrier there. It also has to be a legal transaction. You cannot contract with your brother-in-law to cheat on your taxes. That is not an enforceable contract. It has to be lawful. And then finally, you might see in the paper every once in a while, you see a building that gets sold for $1. It has to have valuable consideration. $1 is considered valuable consideration. What has that got to do with us here tonight? Well, let me ask you this question, and I've said it before. If being a Christian was a crime, is there enough evidence in my life to convict me? That's That's a question I ask myself with a lot of regularity. I'm sure my wife would tell you there are days when my conviction would be pretty unlikely. I'm sure she'd have to say that, and we all have those days. The question I ask is, well, what are the elements that, the evidence that you need to be convicted as a Christian? What is it that in your life that makes up the text, the fabric of your life that would convict you as a Christian? Well, Christ talked about it in the Sermon on the Mount. My note here says, if you want to change your life, read the Sermon on the Mount every morning. That's 3 chapters in Matthew, 5 through 7. Every morning for a week. If you really want to change your life, read it every morning for a year, and it will have an impact on your life that's absolutely amazing. But in the 7th chapter of Matthew, in the Sermon on the Mount, is Christ's comments about Christians. He says, watch out. The title of this, of course he didn't put the title there, but the title of this is The Tree and Its Fruit. The Tree and Its Fruit. Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves. By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus, by their fruit, you will recognize them. When I was a kid, about 8th grade, I was in science school. We had a difficult class. There was a lot of troublemakers in the class. As you can imagine, I was not one of them. I was absolutely superb. We had a teacher who was a prince of a man. He was an example of a Christian man. He had a nice family. And he had the most gentle spirit. Sometimes I thought to myself, how can this man be so patient with us? Because we were so obnoxious at times. Well, in the spring of the year, after he'd been teaching us most of the year, we lived in International Falls. He went on a fishing trip. He and 3 of his very good friends.